Hi there everyone, Cody here. So I'm coming to you from the top of a hill at the northwest corner of the ranch. You can see the house, the shed, the corral, and some trees down there. And the reason why I've hiked up here this morning is I wanted to set up a landing pad for the drone. So I just got this piece of old plywood here. Leveled it up so give the drone a nice place to touch down. And the idea is to reset the home point on the drone. The drone has built into its software a hard altitude limit of 500 meters. And so, the idea is I can reset it by touching down somewhere else. You see, you're allowed to go 400 feet above the ground with the drone, but if the ground's going up with you, like if you're flying up a hill, you're allowed to be 400 feet above the hill. But the drone, even if it's right next to the ground, it won't fly more than half a kilometer up. And the top of this hill over there, just to get to the other corner of our property, which I think is up there somewhere, that's over a kilometer. I can't get to it with the drone. So if I were to wanted to fly around the entire ranch with the drone, well, I'm gonna have to touch down somewhere high so that I can do that. That's the idea. Well, we go get the drone and test it out. See if we can bring it up here and land it. And this isn't too far. I can hike this in about 20 minutes. So if the drone is unable to take off again, I can just come get it. Okay, so here we are with the drone. As you can see, we're taking off from my sister's trampoline. You can see a cherry tree and a little, I think that's an Australian pine right there. Anyway, in the clip before, you might have noticed that I spliced in me saying 500 meters and half a kilometer. I'm getting better at splicing. I'm still not very good, but I just said the wrong number the first time around. Anyway, you can see me standing right down over there in the upper right corner of the video there. So now that I've gotten up above the towers and everything, I can fly the drone over to that landing spot. You can see all of our old cars and stuff there. And this drone flies way faster than I can walk. Like, it'll get over there in, I think, less than 2 minutes. So it's at least 10 times faster than what I can hike it on my own. It literally is like, well, it is flying, right? You can see the mine that I've been working in over there up the on the left hand side of the frame. And just coming up over the mountain now, you can see down there in the valley the Great Salt Lake. I think that's actually Gilbert Bay? No, Stansbury Bay. It's one of the bays of the Great Salt Lake. Anyway, you can see we're coming up the hill. There's the landing spot. I can see it now because I know what to look for. I've seen this video before. I did have to kind of look around for it with the drone. Oh, there's a crow. I didn't notice the crow before. So I actually chose a piece of wood that would kind of match the ground because I didn't want it to be obvious. Unfortunately, it makes it a little bit hard to find. But since I knew where it was, I was able to locate it pretty quickly. I love looking at these rock layers from this angle. You can definitely tell the strata changing from the limestone over to the shale and the humbug quartz and stuff. Okay, so you notice I'm kind of spiraling in on the landing pad. I could probably do this faster, but I wanted to make sure that I landed right. Also, it was a little bit windy. In fact, it gets really windy up on these peaks, so maybe I shouldn't be having the landing pad exactly on the top of the peak like this. But that's what these tests are for. Okay, touchdown. I think I pulled the camera up. Yeah. So you can see out over the Tooele Valley there. You can see the Walmart distribution center right down there, and just above the edge of the board. Okay, so after sitting down for a little while, they reset the home point and I take off. You can see our neighbor's house up on top of the hill. At least it did before I turned the camera down. Let's look at the landing pad again. So I think I was just flying straight up for a little bit so I can get up above and get a good view of the drone, you know, so I don't lose signal. And then I got about 200 feet up, and then I started flying over this hill. I just kind of wanted to follow the ridge a little ways. You can see all those trees that burned in the last fire. Like, the fire didn't really burn the trees up, it just like burned their bark and killed them. It's really sad. Yeah, people are always asking, well, why isn't there very many trees in the ranch? Well, it's a desert, and the occasional fire really knocks them down. The only trees that do grow wild out there seem to be these junipers, and they don't do so well with forest fires. I guess this was actually a grass fire. Anyway, you can see that I come down the hill. You know, I didn't want to fly straight over this ravine because that would have put me over 400 feet above the ground. So I kind of fly down a little ways. Yeah, so I probably flew down more than I needed to, but I was also kind of getting a look at everything. Okay, so now I'm going to start flying back up this hill, just kind of following the ridge up. Now, I've done this hike many times, but never this fast. It's crazy. Just look at those trees just flying by underneath of us. So this hike does get pretty rocky, but it's pretty easy to pick our path through here. And I remember a few years ago there were actually some big Douglas fir trees growing right up in this canyon. You can see that they're tipped over and rotting on the ground now. I don't think there's any of the Douglas firs left on the ranch. I'd like to put them back and get them growing again, but I'm afraid that the weather's just too dry now to get them started. So I'd either have to keep them watered or not grow them. So this right here is an area we call the castle, because from down at the house it looks like there's a castle up here, but from here, of course, it's just some rocks. Okay, so we're definitely above the altitude limit of the drone. Like, flying straight from the house, I would never have been able to get this high. You notice that I actually the drone dropped a little bit. That's because I lost the signal and it was about to fly back to its home point. But I managed to regain signal. I think I just wasn't facing directly at the drone. But yeah, it was making me nervous. I probably would have flown farther had that not happened, because I really didn't want to lose the drone up here. There's a lot of trees. It'd be hard to find. But I was able to get up, and you can look down into the other canyon. Okay. Now, I originally was going to fly out over top of this mountain here. That's actually why I hiked over into the middle of the valley, so that I could have a line of sight with the drone. But I decided to go straight down after getting a good look at the valley from up this high. So I think the ultimate altitude that I reached was about 600 meters above the house. So I managed to go an extra 100 meters higher than I would have normally. The landing pad that I set up, the second pad to reset the home point, was about 150 meters above the house. So not all that high. This was just sort of a test to see if I could do it. I think I'm going to set up another one probably a little bit higher so I can go all the way up the mountain. But this gets it so that I can fly it anywhere on the property. Look at the Great Salt Lake from here. You can see that as I'm going down the mountain, I'm kind of dropping. I didn't want to fly straight over the canyon because that would put me pretty high up. In fact, just looking there, I figured I was too high, so I decided to kind of hug the side of the mountain here and drop down a little bit more before cutting across back to the trampoline by the house. Get one last look up the canyon here. Okay. Okay, so now I figure that I'm low enough, and I'll just go cut across, maybe fly over these cliffs. So you can see everything. You can see our road coming up from the highway. It's all dirt road, unpaved. It looks like my sister was coming up. Oh, that's right, her car broke down. We had to fix that this last weekend. She was coming up and her transmission went out. And I can see that cliff right below us. The drone has no trouble flying over that. You can see the watershed down there. Water truck and tanks. You can see there's the 7 right below us, where I've got all those cherry trees planted. Right down there. Okay, just coming in for a landing. Oh, there's the water tanks. You can see we're putting tin on the roof. We ran out of money to do that project. We're still working on it. We still need to put siding on this. We built a extension onto the house. You can see the drone shadow there. I'm just trying to pick the center of the trampoline. And there we go. I landed right where I took off from. That was a pretty good little flight. I'll see you guys next time.